Today we're going to be reading two short scary stories. Our first story is going to be about a creepy house that is either haunted or alive. Our second story is going to be about a girl with no memory of the night before going on a scavenger hunt to try and figure out what happened to her. Both of these stories were submitted by you guys to the subreddit, and if you guys have any other stories that you want to share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below. But hey y'all, let's hop into the stories. This first story says, Journal Entry, August 12th. Journal entry, August 12th. They say the house watches people. I've believed that for a while, but I think now it tests them too, especially the ones who don't live here. So it was just us, me, Amelia, Silver, Gregor, and Jessica, backyard camping at my place while my family's off at the summer house. Whole property to ourselves. You would think that would feel fun, wild, like we own the place, but even in daylight, there's this heaviness, like the house holds its breath. Jessica was the first to say it out loud. We had just finished pitching the tent, and she was staring up at the windows. It looks like something lives in it, she said, holding her sketch pad up like she wanted to draw it. Duh, my family, I said, brushing dirt off my hoodie. I live in it. She laughed, but didn't look away from the top floor. Then Silver, of course Silver, gave the moment a sharp little twist. Oh yeah, he said. Remember the doppelganger experience I had here last summer? Everyone got quiet. Even Gregor, who had just been dragging over the firewood, stopped and glanced up. Yeah, that night. A little throwback to one of my other stories with Silver. It was one of those slow summer nights, the kind where the sea breeze felt more like a whisper than a wind. I remember the creak of the floorboards, the kind of sound that becomes background noise after a month in an old house. My family was, as always, miles away enjoying sunlit mornings and beachside dinners while I stayed back. Me, the internet-deprived loner. I didn't hate the house at first, but after that summer, everything changed. Silver, my best friend, the ultimate skeptic, Mr. Ghosts Are Just Misunderstood Plumbing, had come over to keep me company. He knew something had happened to me in that house the summer before, but he never truly believed it. He chalked it up to bad dreams, isolation, or my overactive imagination, and honestly, I let him. I just wanted someone around to keep my mind off of things. That night, we made a ritual of chaos. Junk food, soda, horror movie marathons, Scream 2 was on. Classic. We were halfway through when nature called, and I told Silver I was heading upstairs to the bathroom. I left him lounging there, half buried in popcorn. 10 minutes later, I returned. The front door was wide open. Odd, I thought. We locked it. We always did. I shut it quietly, and then made my way to the movie room. Lights off, TV dead. The silence was too silent. I called for Silver, no answer. I checked my phone, called him. 3 times he picked up, panting. I'm home, he said, voice shaking. What the hell do you mean you're home? Then the words I wish I had never heard. Words that now echo through my skull whenever I step into that cursed room. He said after I left, the door opened again. He saw someone come in, thought it was me, that someone sat beside him. Didn't speak, didn't move, but when he really looked, it wasn't me. It was him. His double. Same clothes, same hair, same voice when it finally spoke, but the smile, he said, wasn't human. Its eyes were bloodshot as if crying for centuries, teeth like needles, smile too wide, and when he whispered, "Who are you?" the thing smiled wider and whispered back, "You." That's when Silver ran. He hasn't been the same since. Neither have I. Now when I walk past the door, the one to the theater, I swear I still feel something on the other side. Watching. Waiting. And I remember that summer, the one when Silver finally believed. Silver had everyone's attention now. The fire crackled, Gregor muttered, "Hell no," under his breath. Amelia was hugging her knees. Jessica kept looking at the house like she was waiting for something to move. Then came the rustling in the woods. Light at first, like wind, but then a heavier step. Branches cracking. We all turned, listened. Gregor tried to joke, probably a deer, but Jessica's voice cut through that fast. That's not a deer. That's standing upright. And just like that, the fun drained out of the night. The sun dipped below the ridge fast. 1 second, we were roasting marshmallows. The next, it was full darkness, and the fire was the only thing keeping the shadows back. After Jessica swore she saw someone in the woods, standing upright, Gregor immediately stood up, puffed out his chest a little. "Don't worry, people," he said, hands on hips. "Nothing's gonna happen to you while I'm here." Classic Gregor, always the protector. The guy who wrestles everyone into group hugs, cracks jokes during the horror movies, tells ghost stories and pretends he's not scared of them, but that night, I swear, and I've never said this out loud before, I saw his hand shake. It was subtle. He was poking the fire with a stick, trying to act normal, but I caught it. A little tremble in his fingers. And the worst part, he noticed me noticing. We locked eyes for a second, then he quickly looked away and added wood to the fire like it would cover it up. That was the moment I knew. We all did, I think. But this wasn't just nerves or stories. Something was off. Something was watching. We tried to act normal. Amelia suggested we go around the fire and tell scary stories to break the tension. Not sure if it helped or made it worse. Silver went first, told a story about a girl who hears a whisper every time she looks in a mirror. And one day the whisper says, "Stop pretending you don't see me." Gregor laughed too loud. Jessica drew something in her sketchbook but wouldn't show it. Amelia started one of those old local legends, the woman in white on the mountain road, but then mid-sentence she stopped and stared up at the house. "Guys," she whispered, "someone's in the window." We all turned. Top floor, right side window. Dark behind the glass, nothing there. But Amelia's eyes didn't move. They were watching us. They just stepped back. My mouth went dry, but I forced a laugh, the kind you use when you're trying to keep the fear from chewing through your words. "No way," I said. "We're alone this weekend. My family's at the summer house, and the maid left a while ago." I meant it to sound casual, calm, like, "Ha, ghost, no thanks," but I heard the wobble in my voice, and I think the others did too. Silver leaned forward, almost like he wanted to see if the house would look back. "Maybe it's testing us again," he muttered, "like it tested me last summer." And that shut us up for a while. Gregor started messing with the fire again, pretending to poke at embers, but really he was avoiding the house. His back was to it now. I've never seen him keep his back to something that long before. That's when the whisper came, just behind us, near the tents. 3 of us heard it clearly. I know because Amelia gasped, Silver swore under his breath, and I froze. Jessica didn't say anything, but her hand went still on the sketch pad. It wasn't words exactly, it was like someone trying to say something, but it came out muffled, strangled, broken by static that wasn't there. We turned. Nothing but shadows and trees. Gregor stood up again, fast this time. "Okay," he said, trying to stay firm. "It's just the wind." But then I saw it again, the tremble, this time in both hands. After the whisper, no one said much. For a few long minutes, we just sat there listening to the fire hiss and pop. Then Amelia stood up, brushing dirt off her jeans. "I don't like this," she said. "I'm going inside." Jessica didn't even hesitate. She closed her sketch pad slowly, way too slowly, and nodded. "Yeah, I think we should, just for a bit." Gregor scoffed. Silver sat back, arms crossed. "Come on, we came out here to not sit inside a creepy house all night." "Exactly," Gregor said, throwing his stick into the flames. "We're doing a camp out. If we're gonna go inside now, it's over. We'll be watching cartoons under blankets like babies." He grinned when he said it, trying to lighten the mood, but it came out hollow. You could feel it. I tried to play along, even force a smirk. "Yeah, right," I said, like I was agreeing. Or maybe I wasn't. Maybe I just didn't want to admit the house wanted us back in, because that's what it felt like. Like the house was waiting for someone to open the door. Amelia and Jessica ended up going inside anyways, said they just needed to use the bathroom. They took their phones. "In case you want something from the house, text me," said Jessica. I told them to leave the front door open. 10 minutes passed, then 15. Gregor started pacing near the fire. Silver was fidgeting with his phone, checking for bars. There weren't any. I was staring at the front door. Still open, but too dark inside to see anything past the threshold. "Should we check on them?" Gregor asked. Silver just looked at me and said, "They're probably fine." And then the front door slowly creaked closed, on its own. The second that front door creaked shut, like it had been pulled by invisible fingers, something in me just snapped. "Okay, that's it." I heard myself say it before I even realized I was standing. Then I was sprinting towards the house, gravel and twigs crunching under my shoes, the cold air suddenly feeling way too thick. "Amelia, Jessica," I yelled as I ran, not even caring how loud I was. Behind me, I heard Silver go, "Wait, Martin." I didn't stop. I vaulted up the porch steps, heart pounding. The door was heavier than I remembered when I grabbed it, like it didn't want to be opened again. I shoved it. The house swallowed me whole. Inside was pitch black. No lights on, no sound. I could barely see the hallway. Again, I called louder. "Amelia, Jessica." No answer. Just my voice bouncing off the old walls like it didn't belong here. I passed the living room, the stairwell, my dad's dusty study. Nothing. And then I heard it. Footsteps. Not theirs, not shoes. Bare feet, running upstairs. Too fast, too heavy. I froze. My breath felt like it had gotten caught behind my ribs. I didn't move for what felt like a full minute. Then I heard a voice. Jessica's. Marty? It came from the kitchen. I turned on instinct and ran that way. Found them both standing near the back window, their phone flashlights on. They looked pale, weird. Amelia was gripping the counter like she had just been sick. Why were you yelling? Jessica asked. Her voice was flat, like she was confused as to why I was worried. The door slammed, I said. Hey, you didn't come back. I thought. Amelia didn't say anything, just stared past me. Someone was upstairs, I added. I heard running. Jessica blinked slowly and then said, We didn't hear anything. So I'm standing there trying to catch my breath, staring at Amelia and Jessica like, what the hell is going on? And they're just calm. Too calm. Amelia's knuckles were white on the countertop. Jessica was staring at the window. Neither of them looked like they had been spooked or were aware that I was panicking. I stepped closer. Why are you taking so long? I asked, trying to steady my voice. I thought you guys just went to the bathroom. Jessica looked at me finally. Her eyes seemed a little glassy. We did. Then why are you back here? I pressed. We were looking for something. Amelia didn't say anything. Looking for what? I asked. Amelia finally spoke, but her voice sounded wrong. Distant, like someone repeating something they were told to say. We heard something upstairs. We thought maybe someone else was in the house. That's when my stomach dropped. That's what I heard. Footsteps, running, but they didn't look like they had been upstairs. They weren't out of breath. And then Jessica said something that still won't leave me. We didn't want to wake it up. I didn't even ask what she meant. I just grabbed them both by the wrist and pulled them towards the door, back outside, back to the fire. Silver and Gregor were pacing when we got there. Gregor had his hoodie pulled halfway over his head, unusual. Silver looked like he was about to ask a dozen questions, but stopped when he saw our faces. No one said much. Just sat back down, quiet. Fire crackling, stars watching. Something followed us out of the house. I didn't see it, not yet, but I could feel it, like the house had let us go, for now. When we got back outside, it felt colder, like the air had lost all its weight, and now it was just empty. The fire wasn't even comforting anymore, just something to stare at while we tried not to look at each other. Jessica sat down first, cross-legged, her sketchpad in her lap again. She flipped it open really slow, like it was made out of glass. None of us really talked. Silver asked once, You guys okay? But no one answered. I kept glancing at Jessica. At first I thought she was just shaken, but then I started noticing things. She hadn't drawn anything new. She just kept tracing over the same lines, over and over. Her pencil was moving fast, but in this repetitive, tight loop, like her hand was on autopilot. Amelia watched her too. I could tell she felt it. Something was off. Gregor tried to break the silence again. So, we gonna talk or act like ghosts the whole night? He meant it to be funny, I think, but it landed flat. Jessica didn't laugh, didn't look up. And then she whispered, not to anyone in particular, It remembers faces. We all froze. Silver said, What? Still staring at her page, Jessica spoke again, just a little louder. The house, it remembers the people who come inside. It doesn't like to be forgotten. She finally looked up, right at me. Did you see it? Upstairs? I didn't answer right away. Because I had seen something. Or maybe not seen, maybe felt. Like the moment right before lightning hits and all the hairs on your arm stands up. That kind of presence. I heard it, I said. Jessica nodded once, then turned her sketchpad and showed me the page. It wasn't the fire she had been drawing, or our tents, or the woods. It was a window, the top floor. My room. And something in it. A face, but not hers, not mine, not anyone I know. Just watching. After what felt like the longest night of my life, somehow we all slept. The tents held strong, the fire burned low, and the woods stayed silent. No footsteps, no shadows, no doppelgangers. When morning came, the sun filtered through the trees like nothing had happened. We packed up quietly. The drive back was mostly silence, everyone lost in their own thoughts. I ordered an Uber for the group at the edge of the driveway. We said our goodbyes with awkward smiles and promises to stay in touch. Silver hugged me tight and said, I'll come stay with you for a few days next weekend. Maybe we can figure this place out, or just have some fun. I nodded, but part of me wasn't sure if I was ready for that. My phone buzzed again. It was Amelia. Marty, OMG. I finally got Jessica to open up about her nightmare last night. She super freaked out but didn't want to say anything because she didn't want to freak you out, lol. So, in her dream, the house wasn't just some old creepy place. It was alive or something, like it was watching her and breathing. The walls were whispering stuff, but it was all twisted and weird, like the house was trying to hide what it really meant. She said there was this shadowy thing. Not really a ghost, but more like a shape-shifting shadow that kept pulling her deeper inside. And then she saw flashes of her life, but all messed up, like a bad future or something. The worst part, though, she saw herself trapped, screaming, but no one came to help. And right before she woke up, the house kept whispering her name, over and over. She didn't want to tell the group because she knew it would freak you guys out. She's scared the house wants something way worse than just to keep messing with us. I don't know if she's fucking with us, but texting me instead of texting the group chat seems so, I don't know. But your house is creepy. Might want to get a priest, LMAO. I stared at the screen, feeling the room get colder. The house wasn't just haunted. It was waiting. I need to know if there's a part 2 to that, because I need to know what is going on in the house. Do you guys investigate? Also, the way you wrote that reminds me so much of Dustin's stories. So I loved it. Obviously different because it was written by you, but I just feel like the way you guys describe certain things are so similar, and I love the way you both describe things. I feel like it really puts you in the story. Need to know if there's a part 2. If there is, send it to me. I also don't know. Okay, this is my thing. This story doesn't have a flare on it. I assumed by the way it was written that it was a no sleep story, but also there's a note at the end of the story. Let me read it to you, hang on. It says, my mom and dad got divorced, so I don't live in that house anymore. But every so often I get voicemails from my dad asking if I've been to the house because he swears he can hear me and my brother laughing and running upstairs. He lives there alone now, so prayers for him. So that makes me think that this is like a real story. It was just the way it was written reminded me so much of a no sleep story. I don't know. So I read it like it was a no sleep story, but it could potentially be real. I don't know. Okay, moving on. This next story says, Girl in Pieces. I opened my eyes to a yellow popcorn ceiling, which was strange because mine is white tile. Staring at the discolored ceiling, I racked my mind to try and remember anything of last night. Alas, the only thing I can remember is guzzling every drink out in front of my face by the bartender. Honestly, thinking about it now makes me nauseous, but it was my 21st birthday bash, and I made it all the way until last night being as sober as a newborn, so I guess I earned it. I rubbed my eyes and begrudgingly sit up when I'm met with a pungent odor so strong it could tranquilize a horse, further proving this is not my homely apartment, and I'm totally unsure of my surroundings. I look around and see I'm in a neatly made twin-size mattress with crisp white sheets in a small studio apartment. Nearly subdued by the smell, I start tracing the room to find the origin when my eyes catch the glint of a steel zipper on a black duffel bag in the sink. As I push off the bed to stand, I get the feeling that I'm way lighter than I once was. Maybe this is what a hangover feels like? I wouldn't know, so I brush the feeling off and make my way to the sink. I grasp the zipper, expecting it to be cold, but it's surprisingly room temperature. Pulling the zipper opens the bag, and I nearly vomit as the wave of rancid air wafts into my face. Taken aback by the smell, I almost miss the 2 pale purple hands lying cold in the bag and an index card with a sentence written on it. What's cooking, good lookin'? With this sentence, a vivid memory of last night flashes into my mind. It was of an attractive young man greeting my friends and I with a shot glass, winking at me and offering me the shot. I take it. Oh my god, am I in his apartment? Did he kill someone? I flip the card over hoping for another clue to jog my hazy memory, and I see a cryptic message. I am broken, but hold the key to a picture yet to be. Each fragment hides a part untold, untying them as stories to unfold. At this point, I'm fueled by panic and begin seeking the next part of this twisted puzzle when a sparkle under the couch's pillow catches my eye. Making my way over to it, I start preparing myself for the worst. To my absolute disgust, I lift the pillow and I'm greeted by a pair of dismembered feet, when I then realize the sparkle was coming from nail polish and not just any nail polish. It's a particular polish that's in my collection and on my toes. At this exact moment, Sally Hansen's Insta-Dry Hollow Glow white polish. The feet, who were those of a woman, were as cold as ice and placed deliberately behind the pillow so a single toe was peeking out. Now knowing what I was put in this room to do, I pick up a foot and see beneath it is yet another card. This one has the riddle facing me this time. What's always freezing, but never wears a coat. Annoyed by the stupidity of it all, I disregard the riddle and flip the card in hopes for another clue of last night's forgotten feet, and am met with an image of me and an attractive man in the back of what I assume is an Uber. This picture doesn't jog my memory like it would in a movie. It only furthers my fear and confusion. I got in a fucking car with him? After scraping my brain, it hits me. I finally think to check the fridge where I find a leg that looks like it had been severed at the hip and cut off at the ankle. In the fridge was a jar of strawberry jam with a Polaroid stuck to it. It was a picture of a girl with long brunette hair lying face down on a dirty green sofa. She looks like me, well, her frame at least. Overwhelmed with grief and assuming she was who I am putting together, I wish for peace onto whoever this beautiful girl is, hoping now she's in a better place. Since only being faced with it at this moment, I had never realized how weird a lone leg looked, but it was not alone for long, as when I opened the freezer, I found the other. That's when I realized that every body part had been completely devoid of any blood. Figuring out which leg was which was pretty difficult, but while I was trying, I realized the victim and I share a long scar above the left knee, which was a dissociating feeling. After I finished sprawling the parts on the floor and putting them together, I placed my hand on the victim's leg and let out a sad sigh, thinking about how she may have met this cruel end. Just then I catch a glimpse of skin underneath the bed. On my hands and knees, I crawl over to the bed and reach under it to grab the limb, which happened to be an arm. Only wanting justice for this poor girl, I connect the arm to the hands and go about hunting for the rest of the victim, doing a quick checklist of what I still need of her. I come to the conclusion that I need to find the torso, right arm, and head to give this girl rest. I think back to the Polaroid and realize there is no green couch in this apartment. In fact, everything is pretty much a sterile sort of white color. Minutes go by, checking any and everything that opens. When I check the oven, and in doing so, I find the right arm with a key clutched in it. I pick up the arm and gently grab the key from her. I look at the front door and wonder if I should leave without finding the rest of her. I reluctantly get on my feet and walk to the door, trying the key only to realize the keyhole on the door is fake. Confused, I hold the key in my hand, raking over the possibilities when the thought occurs that this apartment has no bathroom. I've checked over the apartment a million times and have definitely not missed a door. The only thing that seems amiss is a piece of loose wallpaper in the top corner of the room. I grab one of the kitchen chairs and attempt to drag it, but I'm lethargic by the time I'm finished. It was almost as if just moving a chair drained me of all the energy, which is weird because I go to the gym every Thursday, so there's no way a tiny wooden chair would have caused me to huff and puff like that. Once regaining my energy, I climb atop the chair and pull the flap of wallpaper, uncovering a concealed door. Carefully climbing off the chair as to not hurt myself, I then walk to the door to use the key. Unlocking the door reveals a quaint bathroom. The bathroom has a bathtub covered by a shower curtain, a toilet, and a sink with a mirror above it. I rip open the shower curtain, because it's always the shower curtain, and I find the torso. A sickly sweet sensation of satisfaction washes over me, and I suddenly feel guilty for being happy to find the pieces of a poor girl's dead body. I add the torso to the fragmented body, and the uncanny realization hit me that this girl had to have been around the same age that I am, making this feel real. Maybe I'll share the same fate as this girl once the man gets here. Why did I trust that drink? Why did I trust the Uber? Why did I trust a man? The only thing left to finish off the girl's body is the head. Feeling sorry for what indecencies this poor baby has been through, I rip the sterile white sheet off of the bed and cover the body, hoping to give her the ability to rest soon. Minutes turn to hours as I pace the apartment, upturning every lead that I can think of, but still I come up with nothing. I sit next to the body and try to imagine what life she may have lived before being dealt this horrid fate. Maybe we could have been friends. Maybe we could have bonded over our shared scars, long luscious hair, and nail polish collections. I notice that not only do we have the same stature, long brunette hair, a matching scar, and the same nail polish, but we also share a birthmark below our belly button. My mind argues with the thought that this mystery victim is me. I try to calm myself down by reassuring myself that I'm alive right now and that there's no way that I'm dead. I've been all around the room, moving things and finding parts, so the possibility is unlikely. To soothe myself, I jog to the bathroom sink, splash water on my face, and as I take a second to look up into the mirror, the overwhelming realization hits me. I have no reflection. The room spins and I feel like I'm on a completely different plane of existence. In a fit of rage and confusion, I smash the mirror, exposing what seems to be an open space. I look down at my gashed hands and notice the absence of blood, further confirming my theory. As I finish clearing out the shards of mirror covering the space, I make eye contact with my severed head. A bone-chilling rush goes down my spine, and this is the confirmation that I needed. After completing the body, I lie next to it, and I hold her hand, my hand, and take in my feelings. I don't know how long I'm there, but I know that I lay there until I come to terms with the revelation. Once I'm content with the fact that I am the victim that I've been recovering, I hear the sound of the front door click open and a flood of bright white light fills the room. I hoist myself up, walk to the door, say to myself that I'm ready, and I let the light completely envelop me, filling me with a warm sensation. Okay, I kind of had a feeling that it was gonna end up being you and you were dead the whole time, and like in order for you to move on, I had a feeling, but at the same time, I was like, maybe this guy is, I mean, he's clearly a psychopath, but like, I was like, maybe all of his victims look alike. Like that's, I feel like very common for serial killers. I don't know. So I was like, maybe you guys just look alike because that's like his type of victim. I don't know. But that was actually amazing. I loved this. I loved this. And I love the title, Girl in Pieces. I feel like that is like, I don't know. Oh my God, you guys are all so talented. It's insane. And my voice is clearly not happy with me right now. But that's all I'm going to read for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you to both of you for submitting these stories to us. I loved them. And if you guys have any stories you want to share with me and the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below. If you're going to send in a story like this, like a no sleep story, please flare it as no sleep. It's like a fictional story that you've written. If your story is real, you would flag it as like paranormal, well, it's not me, anything like that. Flare, not flag. You know what I mean? But other than that, I'm gonna go. Actually, I lied. Before I go, I want to say really quickly, I announced last weekend that I turned on channel memberships, and my first channel membership video should be going up soon. I can't remember. Anyways, it'll be up sometime this week. I haven't decided on a specific day yet, but it will be up. Like I said with the channel memberships, there are 2 tiers. So if you are on JV, you will get members only shorts. So there will also be a members only short that's coming out this week. If you are in varsity, you will get a members only video. Those are coming out this week. Maybe they've already come out. Who knows? I'm filming this way ahead of time. But if you guys are interested in joining my channel memberships and getting this exclusive content, go to my channel, sign up. Don't exactly know how it works. Again, I am no help. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to like announce that there is stuff happening already. But okay, now I'm gonna go. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.